About apologies for the lateness. I had to push things back. I do have a day job, so that had to take priority. But I am back giving you for another episode of Hoops Lytics. This is episode 5, I believe, of Hoops Lytics. And this time I'm going to be going over the 2021 NBA draft. The guys that are now going into their fifth year in the NBA, which is, I think, pretty cool. And to see where some of those players are, how they've performed, definitely it's interesting. But before we go into that, this is going to be the showdown of today. Now, it's going to follow the similar format to how the last few weeks have been going. I've been looking at all the years since 2020, going up to the 2020, the recent draft that we've recently had, and given predictions on how these guys would perform based on previous performances, except for this year's draft, just because they haven't played a game yet. But for these guys now, the 2021 draft, I you would notice that for the last live, I did the 2020 draft instead of doing the 2021. So I'm making up for it. My bad on the preparation. Definitely lots of things going on. But now, the focus and the structure of this is going to go like this. We're going to look at my top 5 players. Top 5 players. I choose these players based off of their player efficiency rating, which I think is key towards really assessing how a player performs overall and how they might perform in the future. I think efficiency, a lot of people don't rate it as much as they should because it encapsulates lots of different things. That's offense and defense. So for me, I think this is the first good barometer and simplest way to educate people on how players could potentially be able to perform in the future. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the dashboard, this Power BI dashboard here. If you give me 1 second, I'll be able to share my screen and we can really jump right in there. So top 5. This is the dashboard that's got all the stats based on how these guys have performed in the last season. So that's the 2024 to 2025 draft. I've already filtered it for the 2021 draft class specifically so we can look at that here today. Now, for the first guy on my list, and it's a bit of a no-brainer because it's right there. He's the highest rated guy based on last season, and that is Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley, I was really impressed with last season. He's one of the reasons why the Cavs did so well, really opened the door for the likes of Donovan Mitchell. The two were great in tandem. And based off of his performance last season, he is at an all-star level. And it is no surprise. You look at the minutes that he played, 30 minutes a game, 18 and a half points on average, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, almost a steal per game. And his turnovers and fouls, as you would see from the last live I watched, which are key indicators to showing whether a player is efficient or not. If that turnover or foul ratio is low, the efficiency rate is very high. So that's something that going on this season, I'll be watching out. And I know preseason is getting ready to start. So that is something I'm going to be keeping a good eye for as we go through this year's journey of looking at these players, trying to uncover and really get on top of the next star coming. And Evan Mobley is one of these guys. He's still young, 24 years old, plays the 5 and the 4, really versatile big. And that's really what you wanted. Was third in his draft class, but really is probably looking like he's going to be the best player out of his draft class out of it. And he is my number one. But here's other reasons why he's number one. Let's look at what he did last season overall in comparison to everybody else. Just looking at the raw stats. So, and clear this. Peyton Pritchard was the last one. We're going to look at that 2021 draft class. So last season, these were the guys. These were the guys that what they did was the best. You look at the scorers. You got another guy, Cade Cunningham is on there, Jalen Green's on there, but Evan Mobley's right here. Right here, 5th on the list for Evan Mobley. Where is he in steals? He was just under a steal per game, so he probably isn't going to be anywhere near here for steals, but he's somewhere on there. Let's see what Evan Mobley did on steals. 85 steals. It's not bad. 85 steals isn't bad, but you could definitely see that there's a difference. There's guys that are just above him. He probably is probably one of the best five of big guys, big men in the game that is in steals. Then you got when it comes to assists, he's pretty good at assists there as well. Was he one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine when it comes to assists last season with 226. And then he was second on rebounders, only second to Alperen Sengun, who, spoiler alert, I'm going to be talking about a bit later on because he is on my list. But where is he? I'll get to in a sec. But you had Evan Mobley there with 18.5 points per game, played 71 games last season. Looking at his turnovers per game and the assist to turnover ratio, I think the ratio is pretty good. And one of the key stats I think is good to be able to see whether a player does well is that free throw shooting percentage right there. That's at 72.5% and 37% from three. He's a very good overall, a good big. And as a Utah Jazz fan, as you can see from here, this is a very nice Utah Jazz fan hat. I'd love for my boy Walker Kessler, or even better, Kyle Filipowski, to end up being a player that's like this, a player that can give you a little bit of everything, a little bit on the offense, a little bit on the defense, and to be able to hide as many weaknesses as you might have. So that's what he did last season. But is that really much as a surprise? Maybe not. Let's look at his rookie season. Rookie season here, draft class. We're going to look at the 2021 draft class. Evan Mobley there, still one of the top scorers in his draft class, fifth on the top scorers list. Then when you look at it, where is he on assists? Assists, he's right there at 174. Rebounds, he's top in his rookie year. And again, when it comes to steals, where is he on steals? Actually, he's not bad, 56. Not bad, 56. Probably that's something that he could work on, but does he manage to work on it? 56. We know by his fourth season he gets there. Let's see how it is. 2021 draft class. Where is Evan Mobley? Third on the top scorer list, Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley, he's again 224. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 when it comes to assists. Top again on rebounders and Alperen Sengun there in second. And then with steals, let's see where he is with steals. Come on, load, baby, load. There we go. 60. Around to what he did in his first season. But as we know, that third year, that tends to be the year that most players really. Let's see what he does in his third season. So you got there, when it comes to top scorers, he is nowhere in sight. That means he was probably injured, would probably be my guess. No, he wasn't. Where is he? Oh, drops off in his third season. I'm gonna have to look at deeply on what happened here in his third season. But he was way up on steals, 468. Like he was what, fifth on steals? Something's going on here. I definitely will have to look at this in a lot more detail when I do a really in-depth analysis on this to find out the reason why in his third season didn't perform. But in his fourth season, saw what he had here. Maybe it was one of those outlier seasons. I don't know. But that is something I'll be looking to find out. But the general narrative around Evan Mobley is that very good player, gives you an all-round game, points, assists, rebounds, and has had years where he's had good steals. He's clearly capable of becoming somebody who's good at steals. Maybe it was a positional change that season. That's something I'll have to go and check out a little bit more. But to be there at fifth in steals, I think is pretty darn good. Now, for my second guy, who I think is really for me in my top five of players that is going to have a breakout season or at least take it to the next level, and that's Alperen Sengun. I watched him play in Eurobasket with Turkey, one of the best players on there. Him and Adam Bonner, I think, did a fantastic job. And he's really had a good start to the season so far with getting in those games uh, for Eurobasket. He's going to be able to translate that in the NBA. He was shooting threes, and with his new teammate and Kevin Durant, with the injuries that his team are having, more will be expected from him. You could see here Alperen Sengun again. He's at another All-Star level. So anything that's from 20 to 24 is at an All-Star, and anything that's 25 and above is MVP caliber. What we can see here, there's nobody in this draft class last season that is of an MVP caliber, but we do have a few All-Star guys here. We got a few All-Star guys here. And Alperen Sengun, you look at those numbers there and look at the minutes, 31 points per game, 19, sorry, 31 minutes a game, 19 points, 10 rebounds, averaging a double-double. That's what you want. 4 assists, just shy of a block a game. Probably needs to improve that. Steal a game. And again, fouls and turnovers are down. That's what's going to be key to for that efficiency. How was it like in comparison to his other guys? I know we've kind of already talked about Alperen Sengun a little bit last season, but third here on scoring, right there around Evan Mobley and a few other guys that I will be talking about. Alperen Sengun here when it comes to assists. Again, here, fourth in comparison to everybody else in this draft class. First on rebounds. And then when it comes to steals, not as much. Well, you know what? Let's go through it. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see what's going on here. 21 steals. He's terrible at stealing. Terrible. Again, part of that is because of his role in the team. But we saw someone like Evan Mobley capable of doing it at the very least in his third season. How's he improved from his rookie season all the way up to last season? Let's look at that. Alperen Sengun, pretty decent. Decent first season as a rookie. 692 points overall. Pales in comparison to the likes of Evan Mobley and some of his other members in his draft class. Same thing when it comes to their assists. Decent, but again, not at that level. Not compared to some of the other guys that I will be talking about. Alperen Sengun, again, here, steals pretty good overall. But again, no, you know what? He's competitive when it comes to steals in his rookie season. Shows good hustle, good hard work there. And then rebounds, he's one of the top guys. And as you can see there, when it comes to rebounds in his second season, again, he keeps him and Evan Mobley keep on being one of the top guys there. Alperen Sengun, again, pretty one of your top scorers there in his second season. Again, when it comes to steals and when it comes to assists, third season here. Again, one of the top guys there when it comes to scoring. You're talking about a guy that's an all-star caliber player. And I look forward to the all-star format that's said to be going on this coming season because for sure we're going to see a lot of it, which should be really, really nice. So that's what Alperen Sengun gives you. A lot of what Evan Mobley does. A lot of what Evan Mobley does. Not as good in terms of the scoring, but when it comes to the rebounding, assists, he gives you the same. Steals is about the same. Turnovers are about the same too, but the blocks there is pretty poor. Part of that is to do with his height. I believe Alperen Sengun is only about 6'9". I think Evan Mobley's about 6'11", if I'm not too sure about that. But Evan Mobley and Alperen Sengun, one of the top guys from this draft class. Then third on my list, a little bit less, I got Cade Cunningham for me is third. Now, Cade is definitely the brightest and shining player of this draft class. He's the guy that everybody talks about off this draft class. And of course, the reason for that is because he was the number one pick from this draft class. Now, it has taken him a while to get to what he did last season. In previous seasons, he's been, I think, okay to good, but everybody has been waiting for that season where it's like, come on, like we thought you were the guy. And last season was that season. Well, at least the season before, and his third season was the season when the Detroit Pistons just had some of the worst basketball you could possibly ever see. But Cade Cunningham is at least last season was at an All-Star level. I think he can improve on this season. That Pistons team looks very good. They're going to make the playoffs again this season, in my opinion. Maybe the play-in, but I think they'll make the playoffs for sure. But that is Cade Cunningham last season. Could see how he was in comparison to some of his other guys. And again, you've seen a lot of this as well because Cade tends to be on top. He's with a team for a lot of the time that wasn't great. So he tends to be the main guy. So, and I love Cade for that. But you got Cade Cunningham right there with 1.8 thousand points scored, top scorer last season from his draft class, top in assists. He's there, what, fifth in rebounds, and then he is fourth in steals. And the reason why he's a star because he is an all-rounder. He's an all-rounder by far. He's the perfect guard that you want. He's the type of guard that, as a Utah Jazz fan, we would love for Keontae George to be that, giving you a bit of everything. 9 assists per game. It's good. It's really good. How is he compared to his rookie season, though? Let's look at the trends. Rookie season, pretty good when it comes to scoring. Again, top in assists. Where is he here? Rebounds. I think he's at a good stage there, 6. And again, he's third there in steals. Second season here, not good on the goal scoring part, Cade Cunningham. And where is he in his second season? I don't remember seeing him too much in his second season. 12 games played, so he was injured in the second season. So third season, Cade there, back again. Top third, the fourth in scoring, first in assists, rebounds there, not in the top 10. Where is he with the rebounds though? Oh, not too far off with the rebounds. And then when it comes to steals, again, not too far off, but definitely a dip taken there. And as you saw in his fourth season, he's been a star. He's been an absolute star. Like the perfect level of guard that you want. Really good. 9 assists. He's the mold of a guard that you want, Cade Cunningham. Boy, I'd love to have him at the Utah Jazz. So he's third on my list. Then we got to go to my guy, the Chicago Bulls, Mr. Josh Giddey. That's right, the Big J, the Giddler. I got to go with Josh Giddey. He's another guy that's on an all-star level for me because even though I think he's weak at shooting, Josh Giddey is a big guard, and I think that's what you want for a team. He's the type of guy that's going to give you good amount of scoring, good amount of assists, and he's big enough to rebound, and he's smart enough, as you can see there. to be able to keep those turnovers and fouls down. That's what Josh Giddey gives you. Fouls it down, turnovers. Probably got to work on the turnovers a bit. Got to work on his handling them. True shooting percentage of 57%. It's really good. But Josh Giddey, a really good all-round player. That's why I got him as one of my stars. But how is he in comparison to some of the other guys there? Hadn't really seen that much of him. Not that tab, not that tab. Josh Giddey. Oh, he doesn't make the top 10 in scoring last season, Josh Giddey. Like I said, he wasn't a particularly proficient scorer. Oh, as in terms of like the amount of, he's not known. Oh, what am I talking about? There he is. Josh Giddey there, 1,000. Definitely there's a big gap between Cade Cunningham there and Jalen Green and Alperen Sengun. But still, very good all-round performance from Josh Giddey. When it comes to assists, not surprised about this. Second in terms of assists, like great vision on the court. Rebounding, he's third. Steals, a lot of these guys just aren't very good at stealing. But as a guard, I would have expected more. But that is definitely a weakness of him. Cade Cunningham there, again, the perfect mold of a guard. That's what you want. But how was he in his rookie season? Where is Josh Giddey? Josh Giddey here. So in his rookie season, nowhere near the top 10 in terms of scoring, but he's probably decent. Assists, again, that's his raison d'etre. His reason for being. Rebounds, he's third. And when it comes to steals, it's actually he's okay. Second season, and bear in mind, that's all at OKC. You know, when you're behind Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that's going to be at a whole nother story. But still, has my camera gone out? My camera's gone out. Okay. Camera's gone out, but you know what? We're going to stick right through this. So we got a situation here where second season, all right. He's all right. Third season, Josh Giddey, pretty high up when it comes to scoring. Pretty up, second in steals, second in rebounds, and second in assists. So you want from a guy. Free throws, very good. Capable of being a good shooter. And I think that in his fourth season, last season, was when he goes and gets traded to the Chicago Bulls. And that's when you saw the numbers that how he performed there. But I still think Josh Giddey is a very good player. Definitely deserves to be considered as an all-star level player. So I definitely commend that for Josh Giddey. And fifth on my list is Franz Wagner. So if you're still watching here, I got Franz Wagner here. Now, Franz Wagner's at a solid start. His specific rate is 18.6, which is rounded up to 19. Franz Wagner. Let me see if I could quickly fix this video. Okay, I can't fix that. You know what? We'll just rock with it. Franz Wagner, I got as my fifth player, my fifth top star. I saw him at Eurobasket for Germany. Obviously, we know Germany won, and he was fantastic. Really, really good player. Someone that gives you a bit of everything, playing in that three as a wing. And again, he's just perfect for like size wise. He's got great handling on him, gives you offense and defense. You could see there 33 minutes a game, 24 points per game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1.3 steals to be more specific. I do think that the fouls and turnovers are a bit high, which is probably the reason why he's at 19 instead of 2021, which is what you would really, really want. But still, I think is an overall a complete efficient player. Really like that. But how is he in comparison to a lot of the other guys from his draft class last season? And as we saw there last season, fourth when it comes to scoring. Let me let this load up. Then he's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 when it comes to assists. Like top 10 in rebounds. I'm not going to count. I'm tired of counting. And steals is actually not too bad. But he's someone that's really developed to have a very good all round game. 87% from free throws, which again, like I said, shows a player's ability to be able to shoot, even if they're having like tough games. 3-point percentage could improve. That's one of the reasons why they got Desmond Bain. But if he improved his 3-point percentage, if he got to 30, 32%, 33%, to which is going to be about below average for the NBA, that can really boost that 24 points per game to 27. Like such a good player that's capable. Another international player who we should see in the All-Star game this year. And so much potential. Going into his fifth year, I definitely think that there's lots of areas where he's going to particularly shine. And seeing the journey of how he was able to do it from his rookie season, where he's the top scorer in his rookie season. And he went from 15 points per game in his rookie season to 24 points per game all the way up into his fourth season. That is not bad. We're talking about a 9-point swing in just a short amount of years. It's pretty good. Steals wise, he's got it there at 68. He's fourth behind Cade Cunningham, and we all know how good Cade Cunningham is. Sixth on assists, and then fifth when it comes to rebounds. Second season improves that 15 to 18, but again, consistently remains one of the top guys when it comes to key stats: steals, rebounds, assists. He's exactly the type of player that you would want playing the three or the four. Then in his third season, again, consistently again, one of the top guys in all four areas. And then goes from what, 15 to 18 to 20 to then in last season getting to 24. I believe when it comes to the amount of points Franz Wagner is going to score in his fifth season, I think he's going to get to 28. I think being with Desmond Bain is going to make him a better player. Being with Paolo Banchero again, who's another year older, another year more experienced, is going to allow him to become a better player. And I really do think that the Orlando Magic have a fantastic player in Franz Wagner. The All-Star game is going to actually be pretty good. Even though I do question the format and the legitimacy when it comes to actually having these guys out here, because the All-Star format, you do All-Star game, you want to have the best of the best and not just based on where somebody is from. And I think that they've come away from that. So that's my top five. So we got Evan Mobley's number one, Alperen Sengun is number two, Cade Cunningham is number three, Josh Giddey is number four, and Franz Wagner is number five on my top five players from the 2021 draft class that I think is really going to make out a breakout for this coming fifth season based on what they've done in the previous seasons. But I do have some notable mentions that I got to talk about. One of them is Jonathan Kuminga. So, as you know, Jonathan Kuminga has recently signed a new deal with the Golden State Warriors. I think it's upwards of 20 million a year. So, congrats to Jonathan Kuminga. I'll give him a round of applause. Nobody could see me clapping my hands because the battery on me died. But you know what? So what? I'm clapping. Jonathan Kuminga, and we have him right here, Jonathan Kuminga. Pretty good. Third season, like he's right up there with the best of them. Again, steals right up there with the best of them. Rebounds right up there with the best of them. Assists, a little bit on the lower side, but again, he's in the top 20. And you have to wonder, can't Steve Kerr be a little bit more flexible with incorporating Jonathan Kuminga into his lineup? Now, I do understand why, because Jonathan Kuminga still has some developing to do. I think on the defensive side, Jonathan Kuminga probably needs to improve. And I do get what the Golden State Warriors are trying to build, and I think Jonathan Kuminga doesn't quite fit with that. Now, looking at his fourth season, and like I know this was around the time that Jonathan Kuminga was not in Steve Kerr's good books. So he scored 719 points last season, 46 assists, 104 assists, and 217 rebounds. Where does that now leave Tim to how he was last season in comparison to everybody else? He's probably like top 25. When you look at the guys that are around him, Santi Aldama, Moses Moody, who's one of his uh, colleagues, Corey Crisper, good player, Keon Johnson, Jalen Johnson, Zaire Williams, Miles McBride. I really like him at the Knicks. Like he's around there. But maybe Jonathan Kuminga should be doing more. I definitely think he could produce more with the right team. And looking at what he did last season, Jonathan Kuminga, in regards to player efficiency, I have it here somewhere. There we go. Jonathan Kuminga is at 16, which is a solid starter. And that's exactly what Jonathan Kuminga can be. He can be a starter, but not with the Warriors. When you look at the players he has against ahead of him, Jimmy Butler, he ain't getting in front of Jimmy. And especially at playoffs time, ain't nobody getting away playoff Jimmy. You ain't playing ahead of playoff Jimmy. Playoff Jimmy is the one. So he's at 16 there, but played 47 games, Averaged 24 minutes a game, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and his fouls are pretty low. Lots of potential there for Jonathan Kuminga. I definitely think he fits a certain style, but the style isn't the Golden State Warriors. But definitely super useful. And that's why I had him there as my notable mention. And another player that for me is in my notable mention, but he's a little bit more lower on this list, and that is Jalen Green. Now, Jalen Green is in this draft class, and as you can see here, Jalen Green's player efficiency rating is at 14. So now we know why he gets traded to the Phoenix Suns. But what we do know is that Jalen Green is a marksman. The guy is a scorer. 21 points per game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. I'm not gonna lie. Jalen Green, with those numbers, will get ahead of Keontae George for the Utah Jazz. That's right, I said it. Pretty good numbers for the minutes that he's playing. Those are actually the numbers that I want Keontae George to get this season, or at least close to it. Definitely, if he's playing 30 minutes, you got to be scoring more than 20 points. We need to have that. But is considered a bench player. Those are things that he's going to have to work out. How does he fare with everybody else? We know offensively, he's a beast. Scoring, second behind Cade Cunningham. Steals, he's number one. Assists, like reasonably good. I mean, you know what? He reasonably good in terms of the ranking, but when in comparison to Cade Cunningham, who is at an all-star level, he pales in comparison. So that's going to be another thing. The reason why player efficiency rating is lower. Then, oh well, actually for rebounds, he's pretty decent there. Pretty decent. Jalen Green now has a new opportunity with the Phoenix Suns. I will be keeping a close eye to it. And I want to continue learning more about the game of basketball because there are reasons why, there's more reasons why he just isn't at that level. Yes, the 3 point percentage could improve. Maybe that's the other reason why. Because at 30 minutes a game, maybe you really should be, you know, getting closer to 38 to 40% from three. That's probably part of it. But I don't know. But he does have a great opportunity with the Phoenix Suns playing with Devin Booker. Either way, if it doesn't work out there, there will be other teams that could do with the Jalen Green for sure. I think he's a solid player. He's still young enough where he can improve. I definitely think he's going to improve this season. What that looks like, I don't know because new teams are going to have to do different ways to play. He is not going to be the main sniper anymore. It's really going to be Devin Booker. So I'm very curious on how it's going to be. I think Friday the Los Angeles Lakers are facing the Phoenix Suns. Unfortunately, I won't be watching that game. Got a few prior commitments, but this weekend, baby, I will be glued to watching some preseason games, and I might even do a live stream of me watching the game, giving some reactions, kind of watching to see how some of these young players are playing on the floor, how teams are using them. And hopefully one day I will have people to join my live so I can really have some great conversation. But nevertheless, that being said, I'm out. So, guys, thank you once again for watching the video. Apologies about camera for these last 15 minutes. I do appreciate it if you watched until the end. It's much appreciated. I will charge the camera the next time that I do a live, and then you'll be able to see this beautiful face. If you believe it is so, great. If you don't, that's also fine there. And I will see you all